So
All right.
they'll
They'll,
go to specific customers
okay.
repeatedly.
And
Yeah,
not
I would.
go for no, and not go after new.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
that's
it tends to slack off a little bit when they get busy. So
yeah. So a lot of my dealers are farmers. They're not hunters. So
Okay. Good way of putting it. Can they be converted or is what it is?
um I think to be converted somewhat. They could be shown the ways of hunting, but I think they will still go back to the farming.
Bec-
mhm.
because they're not motivated for more sales. They're comfortable.
And comfort's there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think comfort and again they get busy and they get wrapped up in other things.
Okay.
They might have a service issue, they might have um another one of their product lines that they're um
Focusing on.
spending a little more time on, um that type of thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and with camera equipment, the sell cycle is a little longer also. So
mhm.
Got it. Is the screen sharing you see in the slide how to motivate a dealer network?
yeah,
Mhm.
Okay. So remember this, I think it's interesting in here, 46% of dealers didn't intend to go into sales. As a matter of fact, most salespeople didn't actually grow up thinking, boy, I can't wait to be a salesman. So most people that are in sales or even dealer network, they've got no real formal training. All they've done is learned how to sell by watching other people try and sell them products or services. And then they get out there and if they've learned bad habits or old ways, they don't have any real skills as far as selling. So I wanted you to think about it this way. It is kind of your job to see if you can motivate people by training. The number one thing that dealers want when they did surveys is they want training. Two different types of training. They want training so that they can sell other products besides yours. They want to be trained on selling. And where this came from is 10 years ago, if you ask an employee, a sales employee, what do you want? What motivates you? It would have been better pay or better commissions. Two, security for a job well done. Three, and basically rewards for uh, doing my job. Recognition, compensation was number one. Today, the surveys would say the number one thing people want is a company to train them, because what has happened, the psychology is this: people have learned that nothing's permanent in employment or dealer network anymore. That some things could change, and I could be out of a job. They've seen companies downsize, outsize, right size, whatever new spin corporate America puts on for being unemployed or not having a contract as a dealer. So dealers are looking for a portable career. What I mean by that, they're looking for other options all the time, knowing that, hey, what happens if Aries does something different or whatever and changes? So what they're looking for is training. So I think what you guys, if you can, one of the tips here, and whether you take it or not, the idea is what can you train them on? Can you do a webinar for a couple of your dealers and just say, hey, we're just going to do a half-hour session on prospecting. We're going to do a half-hour section on bond and rapport. What they're looking for, what motivates them is a company that is not just trying to get money out of them and sales, but is trying to give them something to improve their lot in life. So if that's the best way I can put it is, can you do anything to provide additional training to them in any aspect, whether it's you see a TED talk that you liked, or whether you see a PowerPoint presentation that I've sent or do that you want to send them. The idea is they get through their head that, hey, this company cares about me more than just my sales numbers. They care about me being able to improve and get better at what I do. So I don't know if you guys are doing anything. Do you guys do any group webinars, trainings to the dealers? And it doesn't have to be necessarily on your product. Are you doing anything else to help them? Anybody?
I try and get in and talk to my dealers about, um, the industry and other ways that, other avenues to market.
Okay.
So, there's the traditional of you just go to a municipality and you talk to the sewer guys, or you talk to um, the the stormwater guys, and just to try and have them expand it a little bit. And there are various other state agencies, and also the thing about the funding, and trying to find them, because a lot of these smaller municipalities, you've got little places in like North Carolina or Florida or something like that, and you know, they their common theme is, oh, we don't have any money, we don't have any money. So if you can give them a path to get money, and I talk to the dealers about that a lot, and about, hey, there are funds available from FEMA, there are funds available from, other various government agencies that they can tap into, and a lot of times they just don't know about it, and it can open up some doors.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, Steve. To be honest with you, the government resources, I probably need to, after this call, reach out to you just to find out more info on that.
It's the trouble with it is trying to find the information is tough, because it's a labyrinth of information out there, and you can get sucked into all sorts of wormholes. But there are different agencies that you can find that have, um like, who was it, city of Tybee Island, Georgia. They got a grant um from NOAA, and they were able to buy a system through that grant.
Oh, wow.
So it's agencies that you wouldn't think of, like
yeah,
HUD, that type of thing. So
yeah, I agree. So going back to original question, helping the dealers. When we do demos with the dealers a good bit. When we do demos, the dealers are the ones. Well, it's split, I guess. I have dealers who establish, they run the demo. Then I have other dealers where I run the demo. But there are a lot of conversations before and after the demo. What are we going to accomplish? How can we accomplish this? Or what could we have done better? And even doing so afterwards, who else can we get? Or these weren't the right people, or we should have done this, or this person wasn't involved. And we look at other avenues as well. And with my dealers, I often talk about going different routes. I mean, we're going to the engineers, because dealers, like we were saying earlier, it's just kind of a comfort thing. The person here, here's his crew, we'll talk to them, and everything. And the decision usually comes from them, but a lot of times they have an uphill battle getting there. Then also, the competition is demo, and also then a lot of my dealers, they'll do a demo and basically that's it. There's no follow through or follow up or whatever you want to say after that. Then when there is follow up or follow through, it's kind of weak. So it just all depends. But then going to what Steve said, helping a deal, helping customers get money. I mean, I had a municipality, Cripple Creek. They applied for grant money and they got it approved, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks ago. So they're looking to get a smaller system. So there's some money out there for the smaller municipalities that need help, and there's bigger dollars out there too. But the dealers a lot of times aren't concerned with that avenue of doing things. So
But that's a great idea as far as training them on available money through Ezra funds or whatever. I know our city has 750,000 that they have to use over a certain period of time in Ezra funds. So I think what we're saying is take this knowledge you have from other dealers and do a training if you can for as many as you can at one time, saying, hey, here's some different sources that you can think of to help the municipalities find money. It's just an interesting, just think about the one topic, or what people want is training so that they can use what they've learned from you to even sell your product, but others that they may represent. How many other, is that what really happens sometimes, that the dealers they're not exclusive to you, obviously. They're selling other things, right?
Yeah,
Typically.
mine are.
Okay.
Mine is.
Alright,
I only have
alright.
one dealer.
Now, are your dealers, you said the dealers are assigned by state? Is that the way it is? And is there only one dealer per state, or there could be multiple in one state, or how's that work?
Usually it's one per state, but
Yeah.
I think is Steve, you have two that you split a state or something?
Yeah, there's some crossover areas. Like Tennessee is a crossover area.
Okay. Well, I learned a long time ago. It's interesting, gentlemen. I've hired. I saw a list the other day. I've hired and trained over 900 people, and my national manager they had when I was a regional manager and hiring all these people, he had a slogan. He said, "Wayne, there's no problem you can't recruit your way out of." And what I didn't think about it, there's no problem you can't recruit your way out of. He said, if you got a sales rep or a dealer that's not performing, he needs to know that you can recruit somebody else in that territory. So now, if you're already locked on, you say he's got that guaranteed territory. What he used to say is they need to know that you're looking for somebody. They need to know that they might be replaced, because if they're underperforming, if there's three types of employees and there's three types of dealers, and that probably would fit this. It's called the engaged. They're engaged with it, they're working really good, they're doing okay, they're just status quo. And then the actively engaged, the ones that are really really working hard. And then the bottom of it, the actively disengaged, the ones that are just sitting there holding on to their territory, just doing the minimal to get by, not doing enough. And you could probably recruit somebody to do better. It just, the message has to be to those dealers that aren't hitting that engaged or actively engaged level, that there's no problem you can't recruit your way out of, and you might be looking for somebody else in that territory. And I used to run dummy ads sometimes in marketplaces, because I'd know these guys that aren't performing, that they're looking for a job also. And when I run a dummy ad for recruiting people, I'd get calls like, "Are you recruiting somebody in my area?" And I go, "Well, like the line I did on it, like if you follow sports, if anybody's in a college uh, football team or whatever, the athletic director at that college, he's got a drawer right now of resumes, so that he's already got in his mind who the next coach would be if the coach just up and quit for some reason or something happened. He's always prepared. And the idea is you guys are always expected to recruit and go out there and prospect for new clients, right? Jim always expects you to be prospecting for new clients. You should always be prospecting for new dealers. Just always be looking for somebody, passing the word, "Hey, we're always looking for somebody. Do you know of anybody?" That message sometimes is a closed, group of people network, and it gets back to that dealer. I don't know if that fits in your world or not, but
Well, it does and it doesn't. So dealers are very hard to find. Um, so it's not, a flip of a switch to do so. So even in just like right now, struggling in Colorado, we have the competition who has the dealers who will have this and that. And we look for usually we want our dealers to have a back line. So then they have to have the capabilities of repairing. I mean, if you just said, "Hey, dealer," I mean, a lot of guys will say, "Hey, I can be a dealer," but they don't have a facility. Some guys do it as a one-man show, but they can't do the repairs. So there are a few things that need to happen for them to be a dealer.
is
So the
your
actively,
is your dealer in Colorado performing at the level you want or not?
oh, absolutely not.
Okay. So what I would do is ask him, "Hey, do you know anybody else that might be a good dealer over in Utah or Wyoming?"
I've done that.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, because when they start thinking, well, if you're recruiting there, you probably also might be recruiting here.
Yeah, but what they know is, hey, right now I'm the only game in town. And even when we brought him on, was that probably 3 years now, 3, 4 years ago? Um, it took us a while to even get him on, and he came on strong. I mean, he came on motivated and those type things, but it just dropped off, and that's the dealer. But even during that point, I mean, they know, hey, who's Air's going to go with, and so sometimes they, if I'm the only game in town, they really don't push as hard as they should. We've been getting a little traction from him now because there's another potential dealer in Colorado, and I think he's
Good.
filling that. So things are, like you said, if there's someone else, he's moving a little bit. Still not moving forward. He's just kind of flapping around a little bit. There's forward momentum, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
Well, the second thing is kind of fits with that is recognition for a job well done. What people want is they want to be trained in this world. They want people to train them for their next challenge, but they want to be recognized for a job well done. So I don't know if you guys do any type of recognition for dealers, not just regionally, but do they know what other people might be doing in other parts or other states? Is there any friendly competition that can be implemented so that, oh, that guy's doing so well over here? Sometimes competition and recognition for a job well done, it can help motivate people. Any thoughts on that slide?
Yeah, we do at our dealer meeting. We give the top dealer award. We do that, but as far as hey, this guy's doing this guy's doing that, nothing to my knowledge. I mean, Steve, is there anything?
Yeah, I mean, we do the dealer award. I don't, I mean, with my dealers, I kind of encourage them to, um, the ones in my territory to talk to each other, and that can help some things.
Okay.
I know that when they gave out the dealer award, um, that first year, and and Bob wasn't on the short list. He came back to me the next year. He came up to me immediately after that and said, "We will be on that list next year." So
Interesting.
that kind of,
What's
you know,
what's the generation millennials, ZX, what's the generation typically or age of your dealers? 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 50 to 60, kind of
My,
give me an
my dealer,
Mine. Go
my
ahead.
dealer's in his mid-40s.
okay. So
Both of,
go ahead, Steve. Did you or Boris?
nah, most of my dealers are 50 plus.
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting thing has happened in surveys. Used to be like sales awards, like okay, we're gonna have a sales contest. The top sales guys for the year win a trip to Hawaii. And what happens is what studies have found is people don't believe or don't know they don't have that confidence in the future. So a motivation of a yearly contest isn't motivating sales guys. They would rather have a 1 month contest for a weekend in Chicago. So a lot of people are changing their incentive programs from some big, really annual incentive to much smaller time periods to motivate people. And we're finding that's what the studies are finding, that people are more motivated by short little bursts of things than something big, because sometimes they think, well, I don't, victim of circumstance. I don't have a bigger network, or this guy's got a bigger, he's going to win it. And it doesn't motivate him as much as a shorter term type of reward. So I don't know if you can start sending it. I have 40 channel partners. We call them channel partners, not dealers, in my other company. And a channel partner's job is a little bit different than yours. Channel partners to develop the leads for me, prospect, um, get me connected, get so far down, and then I come in and close the deal. But they do almost all the work up front, and the channel partner gets 20%. So like we closed a deal last week that was 120,000. Dealer got gets 20% of that. I send out to all of my dealers every time a big sale like that is made. I just send out to every dealer, hey, Gary made a sale that resulted in him making $26,000. Great job, Gary. And the next thing I know, I've got other people pushing to try and get into that weekly newsletter that I do of recognition for all of the people. So I don't know if that fits in your world. I think sometimes we do these annual awards And everybody thinks, well, so and so's got bigger territory. He always wins the award. And it doesn't motivate them as much as a shorter term period of time recognition. Thoughts on that, gentlemen? Anything?
I don't think that's a bad idea. I also think a stack ranking report might work because that's gonna show everybody. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but at a previous company I used to work for, Xerox Corporation, we showed a stack ranking report for all the sales people, but also I was in the agent program for the first 10 years that I was in sales. And we had a agent stack ranking report for the rural agents and the what were they called? The city agents, the metro agents. And I thought that was pretty good because it would show you where you ranked. No one wants to be in the bottom. So I think it kind of did motivate people to want to push or succeed. Did for
Yeah,
me.
no, I agree with that. And I have, I talked to Jim about some type recognition program because, for instance, when a Voyager sold or what have you, the company gets an email saying that, you know, another Voyager sold. So we see what's being moved. And I was thinking about doing something like that with dealers as well.
Okay. So there's three types of employees. This is another study that I've done, and there's winners, losers, and at leasters. At least they're not losers. So your dealers kind of fit into that group right there. There's winners. There's certain people, you know, they work hard. They're always going to do a good job. There's really not a whole lot you can do to motivate them. They're self-motivated. And then there's obviously the losers. You wish you could replace them. You wish you could find somebody else that could take their place right away. And then there's at leasters. At leasters just do enough to get by. They're not going to be winners. They're not losers because every once in a while they make that sale. So most companies come to me as a trainer and say, okay, what can you do for that at leaster? How can I take that at leaster and turn them into a winner? And the story is train a winner. Because if there's a dealer and he's already a winner, let's say he's doing well somewhere else, why would he come work with you guys? He's making enough money, he's doing okay. Winners usually stay where they're at because they're hitting what we call their Woody Woofy. Does anybody remember what Woody Woofy stood for? Take the initials of what do you want for yourself?
Mhm.
What do you want for yourself? And that winners already getting what they want. At least they're not losers, need to be trained to be a winner. And losers, they're like a cancer. They should be cut out of your network all the time. And what happens is we choose to allow losers to hang in there because we don't have anybody else. And sometimes it drags those people down. But what motivates that at leaster is recognition for a job well done. And he starts feeling that recognition, that pat on the back, and he continues to perform at a higher level. Now, eventually, that person is trained up to be a winner. So I would recommend, based on the conversation I had, that you try and do something to shorten your recognition program so that competition is, like you say, if you stack and do a list of dealers where they rank, the only people that are upset with that are the people at the bottom. And we don't care about the money. It's the middle people, the at leasters, that start to get motivated to move up. Don't worry about that bottom dealer about that he sees his name at the bottom, complains about, boy, why are we showing where everybody ranks? It's that couple of things is also when you do that, winners sometimes start to think that they're taken for granted. A winner is a type of person like, I'd come up to Boris, hey, Boris, just want to let you know you're doing a great job. I'm probably not spending a lot of time with you. It's not because you don't deserve it. I have a lot of confidence in you. You're a winner. You don't need me to, constantly be monitoring your activities. And this other person does. A sales manager spends 80% of his time with 20% of the production of the producers, and sometimes forgets to pat that winner on the back and tell them, just let them know. Winners just need to be told you're a winner, you're appreciated part. They need to be reminded. At leasters need to be trained up that they have the capabilities and the ability to be a winner. I want to know what I need to do to help you to get there. And then the last group, again, the losers, you just need to follow that line. There's no problem you can't recruit your way out of. So the other third thing that they're looking for is stability, support, and secure work environment. Now, this again applies to a lot of employees, but after training is complete, regular support must be provided to that group of people, whether it's a sales employee or a dealer network. We sometimes we get a good dealer and we leave them alone, and we don't go back to them and constantly ask them, hey, if you're a good dealer, what else could we have done that I can take to another dealer that would have helped you? Or what did you do that I can use to help motivate some other of my dealers? They need to be supported and know that you're appreciative of their efforts, and you start giving them the support materials that they need. And you're probably already doing the scripts and all that kind of stuff. But a winner wants to stay with you if they feel that they're appreciated. So again, I assume this, as I was telling Boris before you guys got on, that this presentation I put together is more of a generic for, I've done it for a lot of different companies. So this might not fit in your world. You probably already gave them enough materials and support. They've got all the things that they need from you guys, right? The tools. Yeah, no. What do you think?
I think that we could always give them more. For instance, I'm working with my dealer to try to help them with financing. A couple of customers that we went around to see brought up an interest in financing, so I started looking into that, and so that's something new that we're doing. I'm also trying to create, instead of just having my dealer who has always done this, and actually, to be honest with you, I always have done this myself, kind of let the dealer, because I was in this industry before I came over to Aries, but I always kind of let the dealer uh, submit his own quotes. Well, I'm trying to get my dealer to give a proposal, not a quote, so it has more information, kind of some of the things that we've been talking. So there's a whole structure to it that I'm trying to train him on, as well as for my purposes as well, because I'm still kind of new in this role and with Aries and the equipment. But I'm
Okay.
trying to create a demo structure as well
Okay.
that him
Well,
and I work
you're
together.
you're following the number one thing: training. Provide training for them. Good for you. Yeah. Well, if you think about it, when we start talking about the winners, losers, and at leasters, put your put your dealers into one of those three categories. Is this a loser? This guy's never going to get any better. This is a winner. I just need to constantly remind him that I appreciate him. He's a winner. Or as an at leaster, and what does he need? So where I was going with this is, if any of you have ever left a job and they asked you to do an exit interview, one of the things they ask you in the exit interview is, hey, what could we have provided to you that would have made a difference in your career here? What did you not get from the company, or what else should we provide to you? And I think going back to your dealers and just pretending you're doing an exit interview with them, and even if you said to them, let's pretend this was an exit interview, you were going somewhere else, what would you have wanted to get from us that would have made a difference in your career? And many times, I'm just telling you, it's not something you can provide for them, but the idea that you ask them to participate in what it was that we could have done differently to change your period of time that you were here and make that more enlightening is something that they appreciate. So go back to your dealers and pretend you're doing an exit interview with them and see what else they might have provided or asked that you provide them. So the three things are: inform them, engage with them, and reward with them. So think about, to motivate my dealer network, I've got to do these three things, and each one's going to be different. So do you need to inform them, engage them, or reward them? Engage your audience. And a dealer network must still be trust, and commitment from you. To do this, you create that culture of fairness, though. So there has to be that idea that all the dealers are getting the same thing, and you're not playing favoritism to one person or not. I have just done a switch in my program with the channel partners that I have. We used to reward them on the back end because the product that we sell has a residual software product. So it's like licensing. When the client buys the product, every month they're paying for licensing and our reports. The dealer network used to get 10% of that every single month. But some of the deals were signing 5-year contracts at $1,000 a month. It was taking a long time for the dealers to get paid. So we switched to, well, now what we'll do is we'll pay you 20% of the entire install cost to install our software or hardware in a building. We'll pay you 20% right up front, but you won't get the residual on the back end, but you'll get money sooner. When we rolled this out, all of us, I started talking to some dealers first about it and didn't get to all 40 of them. And by the time I was starting to talk to the 20th and 23rd on my list, they had already heard the message. And some of them were wanting to make special deals with me. What can I have instead of 25%? Can make 20. I have to be right across the board that everybody's got to have the same compensation package, because these guys do talk. Now, I don't know if that happens in your world or not. Do your dealers communicate sometimes amongst themselves?
They
Yeah,
do.
I mean, my dealers, they talk amongst themselves and just to see what's going on
Okay.
in you know, other states and that type of thing. And um, I mean, I want them to foster that relationship
Good.
so that
Yeah.
they can, you know, find out what, hey, this is going on in Georgia. What are you seeing in North Carolina and that type of thing? Or if they're having an issue with something that you know, one dealer might have faced this before. So how did you solve that issue?
Okay, good. And it also creates competition sometimes, friendly little competition between them. All right. Any other comments on this slide before I move to the next one? Okay. So here's a rule. The dealer does not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I'm talking about them. Find out what goals and objectives they have individually and make it your mission to help them achieve their goals. Think of it this way. Your job is to put money in their pocket, right? That's really the way you ought to come across to them, is that your job is to help them make more money, because obviously if they do, you guys do. But these, I see, I'm hiring 3 people that are starting a week from today, and I'm starting training with them. But this week, what I'm doing is having conversations with each one of them to find out what it is that they want out of this job, other than just money. And I said to one lady, Rebecca, I said to her, I said, help me understand, you know, that old question interview and where you want to be in 5 years. Don't feel like you have to say where I want to be with this company. I want your job. I'm not asking where you want to be with this company. Where do you want to be anywhere within 5 years? And how does this job help you get there? And her answer was, well, what I want to do is I've got my own idea for software. I want to develop this software, but I know that I don't have the financial resources to go out on my own. I want to work for 3 to 4 years and then take my own software and go start my own company. And my message to her was, Rebecca, that's great. My job is to help you get there so that in the 3 or 5 years that you are here, you're the most productive and loyal employee, because you know that I'm okay with you leaving in 3 to 5 years, as long as you've had the best and greatest 3 to 5 years while you're here. And I don't think enough employers do that. Like, I don't know if you know, most people in sales managers think, well, my employee's here to make money. Yeah, but why? What are your own goals? Is it that you want to make money to go back to school? You know, those old days of working for a company till you're 65, getting a gold watch, retire, those days are gone. Any idea how long the average employee stays with a company today? Anybody?
I think I
Two
read
and a half years.
like I was going to say 3 to 5 years, but it
It's
might be a lot less.
it has dropped since COVID to 17 months.
Wow.
Wow.
17 months. Yes. Isn't that amazing? And I just had
That
a guy,
is.
I just ironically had a guy quit last week, and it was the 17th month. But and again, that has changed because Gen Z and X, they don't believe in corporate America anymore. They've seen their parents lose their jobs at Enron, whatever company. They don't believe corporate America is taken advantage of, going to be there for them, and it's taken advantage of. What they're looking for is a portable career. They're looking for a company that invests in them so that they can take all that training, information, knowledge, whatever, to their next job. And an employer, this is the paradigm shift employers have to have. Employers have to realize that people aren't going to stay with them. They are going to be maybe 17 months to 3 years, and that employee is going to leave. And so what you have to do is, how can I make that more effective and a productive employee in the time that they are here? So again, have conversations with your dealer about what it is personally that they want, other than just a commission check or whatever it is. What are their own personal goals? What are they trying to accomplish? Because that line that's up here, the rule, the dealer does not care how much you know until they know how much you care. They're motivated because you're in partnership with them together to help them reach their goals, and they're not always financial. It could be things like, all I want is the freedom and flexibility to do a job because I'm a single father and I want the flexibility and being able to get my kids on the bus. And that's a true story that I asked that one guy what it was that he was trying to get out of the job, because he wasn't performing at the level. And I could just tell that he wasn't working very much. And when I met with him and he said, look, Mike, I just got divorced. I'm trying to have, when I have the kids, I have to get them on the bus in the morning. I have to be here and make sure that somebody's here when they get off the bus. And otherwise, my ex-wife gets the kids all the time. And so I said, great, let's structure your schedule around that. You let me know the weeks that you have the kids so that I'll know that when I call you and you don't answer the phone at 9 o'clock because you're waiting at the bus stop for the kids. As soon as he knew that I cared about his situation, his performance just skyrocketed, and he had a 300% increase in sales in those weeks when he didn't have the kids, because he knew that I knew what his mission was. So I really work with my employees that I have and think about it that way. They don't care how much I know about what I've done, my past experience. They don't care how much I know. They don't want to hear my war stories until they know how much I care about them. So I don't know if you guys, if this resonates with you at all, but it made a huge difference in my life from going from being one of the worst managers in the company that I was before to the #1 sales manager, because I started meeting with everybody. And I have a file of every one of the employees, what it is that is their personal mission statement. What is it that they want? Again, every time I ask some people this question, it's their first talks financially. Well, I want to make this, I want to make that. Yeah, but why do you want to make 100,000? What would you do with it? What are you trying to achieve? So I would suggest you just meet with your dealers and just try and find out personally what is that they have that helps motivate them. Comments?
No, I like that. I mean, yeah, when I'm talking to my dealers, try and find out, what's going on with, their life, what's going on with, get a window into what's happening, and maybe that'll explain some of the things that's going on.
Yeah. And how you can help them achieve their goals. That's what they want. See, what happens in companies is, like right now, even using Aries as an example, typically the board of directors sets a goal. Boy, we want to be a $20 million company. And the board of directors says, this is what we're going to strive for, or whatever. And then they go to the sales manager and says, okay, your goal's 20 million. Can you do it? And the sales manager goes, yeah, I'll do my best. And then walks away. Oh man, that's going to be hard to do. And then he comes back to the sales teams and starts assigning you goals. Well, Steve, you got this territory, so you can probably do this. And Adam, you can do this. Can you do it? And you guys think, well, what am I going to tell them? Yeah, I'll do my best. It just, unfortunately, we do what's called top down goal setting instead of bottom up goal setting. And sometimes with your dealers, the same thing. Instead of assigning goals to them, get an idea what it is that they think this should be their goals. And then why are we having these goals? Why did you set a goal for this? What is it that you need to achieve your success? Not just financially, but if it is financially, what are you going to do with that money? It's kind of like when we do the training, we talk about budget. We say to them, hey, if you had this much money, if we did this, what would you do with the money? If we were able to solve your problem and we're able to do this with you, what would the end results be? So work with your dealers to get them to feed you the information that you need that helps motivate them personally. I don't know if you've ever heard this quote. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So when you're dealing with your dealer network, it's so much easier to get to that, how they felt about the conversation. If you know what it is that they need to achieve and what their personal mission statement and goals are, but never leave just say, well, I told them, or I said this, because they forget what you said. They forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Did you make them feel less than everybody else? Did you make them feel like a winner? Did you make them feel like an at-least, or did you make them feel like a loser? Try and make sure that you have that conversation with the dealer to get an idea for how they felt at the end of that conversation. So the other group was inform. We talk about engage, inform. So it's essential that you try and accomplish. The first thing is critical. What are you trying to achieve? What are your measurable objectives? Roles within your organization contribute to sales in some direct, different ways. But it's always think about: are you providing the support? Are we providing the service? And are we helping that channel partner to that distributor achieve what it is that they're trying to achieve? And does our incentive program really do that? Does the incentive program that we have, and are they your dealers? They're compensated because they sell it and then they make whatever margin the difference is between what you guys are giving them and what they can sell it for. Is that how it works as far as compensation?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we quote them, and they market them as much as they want, but
Okay. And much as they want to still be able to get the sale.
yeah, which
Mhm.
is something they have feelers out in the market. They know. I mean, I've had dealers that price themselves out because they're swinging for the fences each time, and instead of doing more sales, they try to do the major sales. So yeah,
Right. Now that's some of the problems I have with some of my channel partners is they want to go for the swing for the fences, so they price it too high or tell them too much. And instead of, I just tell them, it's like the Al Davis, the former owner of the Raiders. Remember his line, "Just win, baby." And I told, sell today, educate tomorrow. Get that sale today. Sometimes the dealers, they over educate and they overprice and then they don't get the sale. Sell what you can sell today. Tomorrow, maybe we can upsell or do something differently, but get the commitment first for them. Again, reward them. Other than the markup that they can have, is there anything else they get for hitting their goals? Is there any other cash transaction or any other reward?
Not really.
No,
no,
Mm-mm.
other than the annual reward that we already talked about for the top dealer.
Mhm.
Okay. Is that by overall?
design.
Yeah, is there only one dealer that gets the award, or is there
There's
multiple?
it's top 3.
Top three. How many total dealers do you have? All
Well, it's
50?
18 plus 8 based on Jim's message, right?
Yeah.
18, 19, 20, 22, 3, 4, 5, 26 dealers, I think.
Okay.
Does that sound right, guys?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I just remember looking at the email he sent out Friday. That's why I thought it was that.
Well, what I do with my dealers is, again, each week they get the report of what everybody's doing, and then once a month I'm giving it a reward, and then I'm dictating different awards. There's as much as most improved. Um, I I'm doing awards on a monthly basis and trying to make the award different so that everybody gets a chance. If you're talking about 26 people and you only give it to the top 3, there's certain a group of those people are going to think, well, I don't have the right territory, I don't have the other level. And they always say, I'll never ever be one of the
Yeah.
top 3. And so there's no motivation to them. Think about it this way: of that reward that you're giving, how many people really of the 26 are motivated by that to get that award? Probably only 10, maybe 15.
Mhm.
What are you doing for the other 15 people to help get them a reward and incentive program? So again, think about that as far as
Well,
a lot of people think.
one
ahead.
of the things that one of the things that we're working on is, um, you know, increase increase discounts for stocking and for volumes, that type of thing. That's something that can um, that's something that can help um, help the dealer, straight up front.
Okay,
So that's we've kind of put a program together for that.
good.
So that's been good.
All right. Well, again, my point is I just don't think that we're doing enough to reward some of those at-leasters. Remember, we're talking about the winners, losers, and at-leasters. The winners are
Right.
always going to get the award. The leasters think that I'm never going to be able to participate, and so they're not motivated by it. We are looking for that middle group, as we're trying to say, what can I do for those at-leasters? At least they're not losers. What can I do to get them through training, rewards, recognition for a job well done? What can I do for that at-leaster, that middle group, to move them up into the winner group? And again, provide the least incentives for satisfactory performance. Sometimes we don't reward people for hitting their goals because we said, well, they were supposed to hit that amount. But set realistic rewards for reaching even the satisfactory. I mean, when we talk about our clients, when I talk about selling to your customer care group, I sit there and say, exceed somebody's expectations and they fall in love with you. Meet their expectations and yeah, they'll like you. Fail to meet their expectations and they'll hold you beneath contempt. Sometimes we're forgetting those people when they just meet their expectations for rewarding them for a job well done. We just assume, well, you're supposed to hit those goals, and we're only rewarding the people that exceed our expectations. So the last slide is, what are we doing to provide incentive, just even for a satisfactory performance? Doesn't have to be exceeding our expectations. What are we doing to motivate them just for thanking them? Hey, you did what you're supposed to do, and we really appreciate it, because you could have been a loser as opposed to just an at-leaster. Do we do anything for just, hey, he hit the goals? Is there anything, or just nothing they get for doing what they're supposed to other than their pay, or part of their pay?
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, I hope what you got out of this training is the three different groups of dealers: winners, losers, and at-leasters. At least they're not losers. And the at-leasters need to have this reward for a job well done. They need to be trained up to be winners. You need to engage them and remember, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I think sometimes we look at the whole group and what can I do to motivate my 26 dealers? Well, I'm sure there's, how many of those fit the winner group that they're going to do what they're going to do? That's just kind of person with 5, 10 are of those 26 are winners already. How am I math on those? Where does it really fit, or do you only have 3 to 4 top winners? What do you think, guys? Of the 26, how many are winners?
5 to
Okay.
7.
Yeah.
And okay, and how many are losers? There's nothing we can do to motivate them. There's, other than recruit somebody new to take their place. These people are just always going to be at the bottom. Another 5, 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay. So it's that 17 people in the middle, that 15 to 17 in the middle, that we're trying to motivate. And so keep in mind that, that's the group I have to concentrate on, the at-leaster. What can I do to get that at-leaster trained to be a winner? What can I do to motivate them? And that's the conversation you need to have with them, is that, what can I do? You're a valued person. We really appreciate you as a dealer. What is it that we need to do to take you to the next level? And the biggest thing I find in doing this training is we spend so much time with the losers dealers, thinking that we can take them to that next level. Well, sometimes you can't do anything about those people, right? They're just going to be what they are until they know how much you care. All right. I don't know if this helped it at all. If there's a couple things you take away. Sometimes these aren't always the greatest home runs, because there's a little bit different than what your own situation is. But is there anything you took away from this that you'll try and enact or you'll try and implement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was good. I think when I go in, one of the things that I try and make sure that I ask the dealer is, before we depart, all right, what do you need from me? How can I help you move forward? And then try and get that conversation going. So it just kind of reiterated a little bit that we need to do that.
Okay. Anybody else? Or I'll end.
I definitely got something out of it. I brought up some really good points. I got some good ideas out of what some of the other guys mentioned as well, just during this training. Um, Trying to find some of these grants that are available that might really help.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, Steve, I think you mentioned um, the discount program for stocking products and systems. I'm not sure if that's something that's just in progress, but that might really help. I'd like to see if I get some more information on that.
Yeah, that's something I've been talking to Jim about for years, just to get that going because that's in previous companies that I work for. I've found that helped a lot, but it's one of those. What does that actually look like? Um, so with a system, you're talking a, a fairly high dollar, especially for a small dealer. So, um, what does that look like? What is a true volume? Is it two? Is it three? Is it five?
Yeah.
So, you've got to figure out what the number